and they're not eating the right food. The cows aren't eating the food that they're meant to. They actually produce a lot of gas, a lot of methane. That's actually a greenhouse gas. And so there's so many reasons not to eat processed meat and ones that come from big cattle farms and things like that.
Okay. And all right, so you have some things in this exhibition that allow us to touch, feel, and actually experience.
That's right.
Okay, that's good. You know, we still have a lot of people who are not convinced that climate change is a reality.
Right.
Do you have anything in this exhibition that...
We do have some things that talk about the science of climate change, the carbon dioxide, where it comes from, and so on. But to be honest, I think that again, one of the reasons we love being in the Bay Area is that the majority of our visitors have no problem with the fact that climate change is happening and that it's human-induced. We're in a very lucky part of the world where in California and here in San Francisco Bay Area. So what we've done is to look at it from not convincing people who will never be convinced, but let's take the people who are convinced but are still not convinced enough to do something in their lives. So what we're doing is we're saying even the people who know that climate change is a problem, they aren't changing their daily lives. They're not making decisions that are actually going to be better for the environment. And why is that? And we think that one, they don't have the information, and two, they don't think it's important enough. And that's what we're really aiming the exhibition for. So there is plenty of information in there for people who don't believe in climate change, but that's not the main goal. People who come in there who really don't believe, they're going to need a lot more than an exhibition or a few hours in our wonderful museum to change their mind. And we've got to go where it's really going to make a difference. And again, I think that that's where there's the most amount of, as an educator, there's the most amount to gain, is getting people who already want to learn, who already care, but don't know what to do. If we can get those people to do something, then we have some hope to try to reach everybody else. If we can't get the people who care to do enough, then there's almost no hope in getting the people who don't care.
All right. I go into your museum, I go into your wonderful climate change exhibit, and I come out, I'm a believer already, but I now come out with new insights on things I can do in my daily life.
That's right.
To try to minimize climate change. And I know I can't stop it, maybe, but could you tell me now, what is the most important thing I should do once I come out of your exhibition and I now feel more empowered?
I think one is always learning more and sharing that information with other people. That's one thing we want the visitors to do, is inspire them to say, you know, I don't know enough. Even though I learn more, I need to learn more about what I can do to make things better. And I'm going to share that information with my friends and family so they can do the same thing. So that's number one important.
All right.
The second important thing, I think, is to really influence the political agenda and the arena, is that, you know, globally there's a lot of support for the climate change initiatives and legislation, and the United States has to be a leader in that. We've got to go out and say that this is important and that we're going to take our responsibility for. We put in much of the carbon dioxide in that atmosphere. We really should take responsibility for it. If we are leaders in the way we can be as Americans, I think that would make a huge difference. So I think being active in the political arena is really important. But I think the third most important thing is to be good to our kids. Get them to become scientists, to be science literate, be engineers, and maybe one of them will come up with a great solution that will save nature from what we've done to the atmosphere. So to me, those are much more long-term, of course, but this is not a solution that's going to be solved by just changing light bulbs. It's not going to be a solution that we can actually come up with in 10 years. It's a long-term solution. So we need to have creative, caring next generation who are going to invent something, invent many things, invent many ways to be more efficient. So that's still going to be at my heart one of the most important things we can still do.
So we all should go out and get more education, and we should share what we know with others, and then we should become more politically active and try to vote or influence the politicians to let them know climate change is important to us. Our way of life, our children, is way of life is important, and maybe it's even important for jobs.
That's right.
As well. And then you have this belief in the youth, the children, that they will grow up and more of them will become scientists. And by the way, you know, I'm a lot older than you, but when I went to school, nobody took ecology. A few took biology. No one, the word sustainability was probably not even in the dictionary.
Right.
And now it's in the air everywhere, but you have hope in the next generation that they're going to help really add to finding the solutions. And then my question is, you have your climate change exhibition. Do you have an exhibition plan for helping people to realize that we have to quickly and effectively migrate from fossil energy to clean renewable energy? Is there an exhibition that coming?
Well, that's part of this exhibition, because we don't think that you can talk about climate change solutions without talking about energy and the complexities. But one of the things that we like to do is not to dictate what needs to be done. What our role is to show the complexity and say that there are solutions, but there's scientifically valid solutions and there's technologically valid solutions, and that you still have to have science in order to be voting on things, in order to invest in the right technologies. So we definitely think that energy is part of it, but when you say clean renewable, for example, is nuclear clean? Is it renewable? It's one, maybe not the other. But I think it's those hard decisions that as a society we have to grapple with. We can't just pretend that we can continue to drive our SUVs and to turn on the lights and to watch our iPads and think that we can continuously do that without affecting things.
Yeah, we all have to raise our level of knowledge so that the discourse, the discussion, is at a higher level than sound bites and gotchas and.
That's right, and looking long term. And of course, I don't think humans are meant to look past 10 years or 10 minutes. But I think we owe it to the next generation to look ahead and say these may not be popular decisions, they may not be easy decisions, but we've got to embrace some kind of solution for them.
You were wonderful.
Thank you.
Now, my guest was Dr. Carol Tang. She's the Director of Public Programs at the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco. I've been there. It is truly a wonderful and interesting place to go. And I suggest you go and you take your parents, take your children, and just have a feast of a time. And then I also want to mention I have released other taping sessions for the Painting to Change the World, and you can find them at Killen.com. I'm Michael Killen.